All right, and we're back with another edition of the Scotty No Show. This is I believe this is going to be our 27th episode. Goodness gracious, we've been doing it for a while. And this is the second part of our basketball coaching kind of summit, so to speak. We've got Coach Allan Bertram. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good, buddy. How about you?
Doing very good. So, for those unaware, can you give a little bit of a background on yourself?
Yeah, I've been coaching basketball for quite a long time in the state of South Dakota. I think as a head coach, I'm approaching that 20-year mark, and so I coached at Todd County High School for a number of years, Andy Central High School for a couple, and then I was at Chamberlain High School for a very long time, 12, 13 years at Chamberlain. Then I left Chamberlain and took over and started the Sanford Pentagon Basketball Academy in Sioux Falls and ran that for 4 years. And then from there, we started Sacred Hoops basketball. And so now we're in year 4 of Sacred Hoops. Sacred Hoops is the largest basketball academy in the upper U.S. We've got 70 summer teams that play under our umbrella, so 700 kids that play. And we work out about 5,000-6,000 athletes every year. So it's pretty busy. And then last year, if anybody knows, I've got about 2.5-3 months of my schedule that are not quite as busy as the rest. And that happens to be in the winter time. And we had things kind of set up with Sacred Hoops in a good way. And so I decided to get back on the sidelines in the winter, and I took the head girls job at Rapid City Central High School. And so I'm out in Rapid sometimes, and I'm out in Sioux Falls a lot. And even sometimes, Scotty, I'm in your neck of the woods in Pierce, South Dakota.
So, last year at Central, you guys made it to state. What was that like?
It was special for the girls. Obviously, when I was at Chamberlain, we went to state all the time. And so it almost got to the point in Chamberlain where we expected to go. And so even towards the end of my time at Chamberlain, the few years we didn't go, it was a major disappointment because people just expected you to go every year. When I took over at Central, the program had been struggling for the last 4 or 5 years. They were struggling just to win 5, 6, 7 games, let alone go to a state tournament. And that was one of the reasons why I took the job, Scotty. It was a great challenge for me. I'd never coached girls basketball before, and I knew it was a program that had been struggling. And so it was a process. We really had to grow as a team throughout the season, and more importantly, just teaching the kids how to win. And as they started going that last month and a half of the season, I think our last 8 games we won going into the state tournament, we won 6 out of 8, and really played really good basketball down the stretch and got the kids in the state tournament, which was a very special thing for the kids.
I believe you guys were the only non home court seed to win a SODAC 16 game last year.
We were, and that was a heck of a game in Huron too. Coach Budhagen does a great job with his girls, and we got down by 9-10 points at halftime and had to make some serious defensive adjustments at halftime, and the kids responded. I mean, it was the kids who did it. We ended up pulling out a 1 or 2 point game at Huron, and so the arena is never a easy place to play. And so for our girls to go down there to Huron and pull the win out was a huge, huge win for the basketball program here at Rapid City Central.
And of course, at state, I have to commend the Sanford people. The AA tournament was one of the more fun looking atmospheres ever, with the pregame introductions, the board that you could slap the name, once you advanced. What was it like coaching in that kind of an atmosphere?
Well, for me, it was what I was always used to. Paul Seville and Sanford Pentagon does an amazing job with every event. And so I lived in the Pentagon for 4 years. And so I got to see firsthand everything that was done there. So I knew going into it was going to be a top-notch, first-class situation. For our girls, though, they didn't understand that. And so when they walked in to see the smoke going before the warm-ups and all the cool bells and whistles that happened, it was for them, it was like playing in a big-time Division I WNBA atmosphere. And so it was the greatest. I told everybody that would listen to me that if they hosted the AA girls basketball tournament anywhere else but the Pentagon from here on out, they're making a major mistake. Every kid should get that opportunity to do that in that kind of an atmosphere. And I thought they did just a phenomenal job there in creating a very long, memorable experience for everybody who participated.
All right. So we have kind of 10 questions here, just kind of get your kind of your basketball philosophy and stuff. Then we have some bonus questions, and then we have trivia at the very end.
Ooh, awesome.
So be prepared for that. So how do you balance what you do for Sacred Hoops with everything else?
It's tough. Sacred Hoops is a huge organization. I mean, it really is a gigantic. And so like every summer, I put on about 30 to 35,000 miles a summer on my car because of all the traveling we do. We work out over 200 high school programs throughout South Dakota and Nebraska, Wyoming, North Dakota, all over. And so I'm on the road a lot. I spend 2 to 3 mornings a week here in Rapid City with my girls. And so that way they get the time that they need with me. And then my assistant coaches are required to try to help out at least one day a week when I'm not here. So our girls still get 4 days a week of training. And then obviously Sacred Hoops is really important to me. I started and created, but I got great people underneath me. Scotty, Sam Willard, who was a longtime peer, absolute stud. And Sam runs our East River stuff. Jordan Long runs our West River stuff. And my son, Scott Bertram, runs our North stuff. And so we've got good people in place to help run stuff. Amanda Carlo, who played Division I basketball, lives on the Pine Ridge Reservation. She runs our All Native program. So I've got great people running stuff for us.
Yeah, I asked Coach B about this question earlier today. So I'll ask you the same question. What's the difference between coaching boys and girls?
Girls listen a heck of a lot better than boys. They do. It's crazy, and almost to a fault, Scotty. You'll tell them something, they take it literally, where a boy's like, I think I'm still going to try it my way just a little tiny bit, And so I really love the way girls listen. Obviously, boys, the athleticism, you can do more offensively. You can have a more free-flowing game with the boy just because athletically they're able to do more. I think you have to be a little bit more precise with how you teach. But in all, Scotty, athletes are athletes. Basketball players are basketball players. They want to be pushed. They want to be coached. And so to me, there's not a big difference other than the fact that my girls listen. They do. And I think Bebop would probably say his girls listen pretty well as well.
I think the first time I may have met you was at a camp where you had Christian Lightner at the camp. How were you able to get Christian Lightner to help out with camps?
Christian and I are actually really good friends. I just talked to Christian again last week. And so we talk about once every 2 weeks. I've done over 8 camps with Christian in the last 4 or 5 years. And then we do a lot of things together. And so Christian was just, a lot of people don't know, he was just out back in South Dakota here about a week and a half ago, kind of in your neck of the woods. He's up in Gettysburg. And so I'm doing a little bit of hunting. He loves to hunt and fish and all those type of things. So we're working. Christian will be back out again this fall, and maybe we'll come back out to Pierce, Scotty, and I can let you meet him. But Christian's a great guy and loves basketball, loves kids, and he's somebody that's been a very important part of my life for the last 5-6 years.
Most coaches, actually, I would guess almost all coaches, were a player at one time. What kind of player were you?
I was a damn good one, Scotty. I still am. Most people who hear that won't be surprised that I would say that about myself. I love to play. I still hoop a lot. I play. I love playing with younger kids. When I was in Sioux Falls, I played in the A-League with Willard and all those guys. And Willard would tell you that I could outshoot you, Sam, any day. I love to play, and so I'm going to keep playing the game as long as I can until I can't. I think it keeps you young. But I love to play. I love to play the game. I still consider myself a player today, Scotty.
Do you have a pro comp? Like a pro player comparison to your game?
So, I probably have the range of Curry. I have the jumping ability of Larry Bird. I have, that's me in a nutshell. Like I'll shoot like Curry, but I can jump about 2 inches off the ground, Scotty.
Okay. What part of basketball do you dislike the most?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I love it. It's been my whole life. Basketball has taken me places I never thought I would, from being able to coach and train for 4 days with the U.S. Olympic team to meeting people like Christian Lightner and Chauncey Billups, and working out over 40 NBA players. I mean, all those things that I've been able to do has been because of the game of basketball. And so it's been a very, very big thing for me. It's been a huge part of my life. And it's taken a little boy from the little tiny town of Columbus, South Dakota, to many, many places that I never dreamt I would be able to go to or see when I was 13, 14 years of age. And so it is who I am. Unfortunately, probably at times it is who I am, because so many people associate me only with the game of basketball. I think I'm more than that, but the game of basketball has been a major part of my life.
I was going to say the over-reliance on three-point shots. It just seems like, you see teams just shooting threes consistently. You'll hear Barkley talk about the Bucks always shooting threes and not going inside with Giannis. And I agree with him. We need more. We need more of a balance between inside and outside.
I would agree, and I think that people have fallen in love with the nostalgia of the game in the last 5 to 8 years, with the three or the dunk is basically what it has been. The mid-range game and the inside game has lost some of its luster. However, the other night when the Bucks went into the post and established the low post game, it was a reminder of how powerful of a tool it can be when you got a guy like Brooks Lopez who really is at the tail end of his career and goes off and scores 31 points because instead of floating on the 3-point line, he decided to get 8 foot from the basket, and they went through him. And so I think the game of basketball is what you make of it. So many people say, well, how would Shaq do in today's game? Well, I would say if you utilize Shaq, how would today's game be able to defend Shaq? And so,
exactly.
And so I think it's about how it evolves. I mean, I'll use, for example, here at Central, we got a 6'2" post player who has developed in so many great ways. It's going to be I think she's a D1, D2 talent, and Josie Hill. And in a state tournament, she showed what she's capable of doing. The Sydney Shetton girl from Sioux Falls, Washington at 6'5" is going to Louisville, and trust me, she's gonna be playing down low. And so that's still a huge part of the game if you utilize it, and it becomes a focal point, and it does open up your perimeter play when you establish a low post game. So I personally think you are exactly correct. I think we got too many kids taking way too many bad shots because they see it on TV. And the mid-range game, if people want to make a living, watch Chris Paul play, because wowzers, at 38 years of age, he can still cook. I mean, it's because he's not afraid to use the mid-range game.
What are some of your pregame coaching rituals?
I'm very superstitious, bud. And so, like many people know, my assistant coaches to tell you, Coach DeBoer coached with me forever down in Chamberlain. He knows that, if we won a game, that we were wearing the same pants, the same shirt, the same socks. And in Chamberlain, unfortunately, there was sometimes that those poor things were getting worn 10, 11, 12 times in a row. I think some people thought, man, is this guy only got one shirt, or what the hell's going on? But so my pregame wise, it's very, very, we really do a good job of scouting teams. So our kids get a full scout report before the game, a physical piece of paper we go through. We do try to work on some mental preparation where the kids are able to visualize and get prepared in a good way. For me, it's just about taking a little bit of time beforehand just to really get my mind right. So I try to go somewhere where it's quiet by myself, where I can make sure I'm 100% mentally focused. I want to give the kids my best effort. And so I think that's really, really important. It's not something where I just show up and do. I try to become as mentally prepared as I possibly can, because I want my kids to be mentally prepared as well.
Do you recognize players who kind of do like the little things, for example, taking charges, diving for loose balls, making hustle plays?
Those are the most important kids. Those are, we call those kids our glue kids. Those are our glue kids. That's what makes our team stick. Those kids who are doing those things are going to make you win basketball games. At Chamberlain, we had a special award. Some of my former players would tell you, at the end of every year, we had a competition. Whoever took the most charges at the end of the year got a steak supper for me at the end of the season. And so we'd have kids, literally, Scotty, we had kids that would go that would take between 20 and 25 charges a season. That's unbelievable. And so even at the girls' game, it's about trying to get our kids tougher, trying to get them dive on the floor. We have a point chart that we keep, and some of those points that kids can get for the in-game performance is on deflections, loose balls, charges, all those little things. And we try to give more points for those things than the normal things that you normally think about during the game.
Can an athlete do too much in the off season?
Yes, most definitely. Sometimes more isn't better. I think it's really important that you have a balance. Kids got to be kids. They do have to work on their game. They got to get in the weight room. They got to do all those things. But I tell kids all the time, it's more about quality time than it is quantity time. I think a kid can get in the weight room, and if you lift hard. I mean, I still lift a lot today. If I go in and get my business done, I can be in the weight room in and out in 35 minutes, and I can have a full lift in. If a kid works really hard in the gym, they can get in 30 to 45 minutes. They can get 200 to 300 shots up and work on their game. So in an hour, they can fully lift and fully get their stuff done. And then you got 23 more hours to do whatever you want to do as a kid. I think sometimes coaches put too much on kids. They think, because here's the deal. I want my kids when they come in, I want them hungry. I don't want them coming in thinking, well, I got to be in the gym again today. Give me I tell my girls, I've told this to everybody, give me 2 days a week where you can bust your tail. And if you bust your tail for 2 days, you're going to be just fine. If you take 2 weeks off, I'm going to bust your tail in the wintertime because you're not going to be playing. And that's the bottom line, so there's got to be a balance, Scotty.
What's the best way to earn playing time?
Work hard. There's no substitution for working hard. I think kids sometimes think that, hey, there's only, in high school basketball, there's only 50, 60 shots a game. That's it. So not everybody's going to be able to shoot the ball 15 times a game. It's physically impossible. So you want to play, be the hardest worker, be the best communicator, have the best attitude, play defense. You want to play defense, man. Play defense and rebound, and I can't take you off the court. You defend and rebound, I cannot take you off the court. Shooting comes and goes. Even your greatest shooters are going to have bad shooting nights, but your best defenders should be your best defenders every single night. And so I tell kids all the time, you want to play, work hard.
What does Mr. Grimshaw mean to you?
Oh, man. He's somebody that did everything for all the right reasons. He didn't do it for himself. He wanted kids to feel special, and he did that through his lens. He tried to capture as many moments as he possibly could to make memories for people. He did that out of the kindness of his own heart. It almost got to the point where Kernet was everywhere. And so people at a sporting event, they just expected him to be there. He truly loved, and I coached it. I got to meet and got to really become really close to Kernet when I coached at Todd County for 3 years. And there was never a home game that Kernet was not at, never. And even after his kids all graduated from school, Kernet did not miss a Todd County home event. And then he still found time to be on the road for everybody else's home events. And so I wish everybody could live their life like Kernet. He lived it as a servant. He lived it to better other people. And he had a gift for taking pictures, and he shared that gift with everybody all the time. And so when he passed on, Scotty, we all, a small piece of every one of us left with him.
So we're on to bonus time. I guess I got to ask, what's your NBA Finals prediction?
I think the Suns are just destined to win. If Chris Paul can stay healthy, he'll win his first NBA title. Booker is playing really well. Ayton gives them a defensive presence in the middle. It's going to give Brooklyn it's going to give Milwaukee some struggles. Giannis isn't 100%,
no.
And I know what the knee situation like him, what it does to you as an athlete. Even if he comes back and plays, he's not going to be out 100%. It's Phoenix's series to win. And so I really think Chris Paul wins his first NBA title.
I say Suns in 7. That's what I said. So earlier today, Nate McMillan got the interim title taken off. He's now the full head coach of the Hawks. Your thoughts?
Very well deserved. And Nate, when you talk to other NBA players that played for Nate previously, they love the guy. He's a player's coach. He gives them a lot of freedom and flexibility. He's got a great young core in Atlanta. Atlanta is there for a reason. Now, if their upper management can keep those young kids and not let them go, Atlanta's got a big history of developing teams and then they fall apart. And they make other teams throughout the NBA really good. And so if he can keep that core group, they're really young. Cam Reddish is going to be a superstar in this league. Obviously, everyone knows about Trey. Collins is a great player. They've got some really good pieces. I think if they add a couple veterans just to give some more leadership, I think that's what they need. But he will get the most of them. I think it's a great hire, Scotty.
Are you a movie guy?
Depends. I go in spurts, my man.
Okay. So famed director Richard Donner passed away today at the age of 91. He's famous for, I listed 4 movies here. Superman, he directed Superman. Lethal Weapon, all the Lethal Weapons. The Goonies, and then one of my favorite horror movies of all time, The Omen.
Yes.
Of all those movies, which one would you say is your favorite?
The Goonies by far. I remember growing up as a young kid. I watched Goonies probably 25 times. Absolutely. Still today, even after watching it 25, I'll watch it at 26. I love the movie, and it reminds you and brings you back to your childhood a little bit. So Goonies. Yep, by far.
What's your thoughts on the name, image, and likeness thing that's been kind of happening over the past couple of days?
I like it as long as they can control it. I think they deserve it, but it's going to be a hot mess for a little while, most definitely.
You have to build a dream starting 5. Who do you have on it?
Pro players?
Yeah.
Jordan by far. It's the greatest player ever to play the game. Michael Jordan. Wilt Chamberlain at center.
Interesting.
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain at center. So MJ. LeBron at power forward.
Oh, God.
Larry Bird out there to shoot it. And I would say Oscar Robertson as my point guard. So I would go with the big O, Jordan, Bird, LeBron, Wilt Chamberlain.
That is that's a stiff lineup. What's the best basketball movie?
Semi-pro, man.
Really?
Yeah, by far.
Semi-pro.
By
okay.
Far.
Okay.
By far.
I'm a fan
of Hoosiers. Then Hoosiers.
Okay, that's what Coach Bebout said. I'm a fan of He Got Game is one.
Yes.
And then even though it's very, very cheesy, it's almost not even a basketball movie. I love loving basketball.
I do too. I think that's a good movie. I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan. Okay. Whenever I need a good laugh, Semi-Pro comes on.
All right. Well, it's trivia time. We've got 8 trivia questions here.
I will try my best to go 0 for 8.
Okay. Well, the first one's pretty easy. What is Dr. Dre's real name?
That's Julius.
Julius Erving. Yep. In the 2000s, who was the first player to record back-to-back 50-point games?
Bryant.
Antoine Jameson.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many numbers are retired by the Los Angeles Lakers? Say that again.
6.
11. Yep. What other team has retired the number 23 in honor of Michael Jordan?
Chicago, obviously. Yep. I would say also North Carolina.
Actually, it's Miami Heat.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Nice. Who was the 2016 NBA Slam Dunk champion?
2016. You got me on that, buddy.
That would be Zach LaVine.
And here's the deal on Zach LaVine. Back then, Zach LaVine was only considered a dunker, and that's it. Zach LaVine now is a top 15 player in the NBA because he's totally expanded his game by far.
Who was hired as the Chicago Bulls coach in 2004? I'll give you a clue. He was a point guard. The answer is Scott Skiles.
Scott Skiles. There you go. He actually had a long, and still, he might still be coaching the NBA. He was also at the Orlando Magic, and I know he was an assistant forever. Yeah, Scotty Skiles. Didn't last very long. He didn't do the greatest in Chicago.
No,
should have been BJ Armstrong.
Oh yeah. Well, BJ's he's a what do you call that thing? He's an agent now. Yep.
Nice.
What team did Mike Fratello coach earn NBA Coach of the Year honors with in 1987 or 86, I should say?
At the Hawks?
Yep. And this is going to be an interesting one. So John Drew has the most turnovers, the NBA record for most turnovers in a game. He is tied with it, actually. What Hall of Fame level point guard also has that record? Most turnovers in a game.
Yep, Stockton.
Jason Kidd.
Ooh.
Back when he was playing for the Phoenix Suns in the year 2000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had 14 turnovers in one game.
You want that for your team, not just one player.
I know. But yep, that's trivia.
You crushed me, dude. Hey, 2 out of 8. I told you I was going to go 0 of 8. I went 2 of 8. I'm going to take that. That's about my GPA average in high school right there. 2 out of 8.
So yeah, that's it. You have any questions?
No, man, I just appreciate everything you do, Scotty. Like I know how much you do for the athletes in Pierre and the surrounding area. I shouldn't just say Pierre, all over Central South Dakota, and your coverage. And I also just appreciate your passion for doing it. It's not something that you do it. I don't look at when I see Scotty working, it's not a job, man. I see a dude that's just out there that loves the kids, that loves being around it. And I know personally, I appreciate everything you do, my man. I think it's so cool. And I got a couple. I'll send you a couple suggestions for your next review.
Ooh, okay. Well, they say, if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. I think that's the phrase.
So true, my man.
So, yep. Thank you for coming on, man.
You bet, bud. I can't wait to see you again.
All right.
See you, dude.